here we go. All right. Hey, season 2 of Manners. Here we are, 2.0. Steven, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing great. Great. Glad to be here.
Amen. Amen. How long you been with us?
I've been with the Block Church now for 9 years.
Wow. And you've been doing janitorial administrative work the whole time?
Yeah, facility work. Yep.
Tell me about your day in and day out, man.
So I'm our production director. So a lot of, cable stuff, computer stuff, lights, all that kind of stuff.
I actually thought you were going to walk through what you would do if you were the facilities person. Actually, I thought you were going to.
Well, I did change a lot of light bulbs the other week in our office.
Amen. That's because we don't have a facilities person.
It's because we're here to stay. We're saving the monies, putting it towards our future.
That's right. We probably don't even have heat on right now.
We don't. I'm actually pretty cold.
Yeah. Well,
we're going to make it through.
We got to raise money for a building, but.
Amen.
Anyway, point of our, little podcast, right? Trying to help men talk about what it means to be a godly man, but we can't ever start the podcast until we have a little bit of a man product, okay? So something that every man's got to have. And I see you as a strong, even though the hair is fading.
It's fading slowly.
It's fading. Last season I had hair. This season I don't.
If I get invited back, I might not have some. So we'll see.
So do you
what
have,
happens.
So what did you bring for us today? Did you bring some sort of hair product or?
No hair product. No, that's no surprise
keeps
here.
Or anything? Nothing?
No keeps. Okay. Nope. It's going. That's my route.
Just hang around the Block Church long enough, you're not going to have hair.
We're all there.
Yep.
But yeah, what I brought a multi-tool. So kind of
a weapon.
It can be a weapon.
I feel concerned.
We do live in Philadelphia, but
you gotta have one.
You gotta have one. But yeah, I mean, this is also sort of related to the job, right? A lot of things that I do, I carry this every Sunday, but most days I carry this because you just never know what kind of pickle you'll get in. Right. Not defending yourself, but maybe fixing something or whatever.
Although outside of our offices, people do get shot quite often.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not a bad thing to have. I wouldn't necessarily bring a knife to a gunfight, but you do what you got to do.
So show me what it does. What's the purpose of it?
I mean, this can do basically everything, and that's why every man should have it.
Okay.
I mean, we got tweezers, we got wire cutters, we got knives, we got files, we got a screwdriver, got a bottle opener.
Wow. Oh.
Yeah, we can fix somebody's glasses if we need to. I mean.
And so you use that obviously in your job day to day, but whenever you might need it.
Yeah. I mean, when I go on vacation, I'll check this in a bag to have it. It's just one of those things.
Do you wear it on your hip, or does your wife allow you to do that? Or
on Sundays, I do have a little holster that I wear. I was going to bring that, but my wife actually said no. She said just bring the multi-tool. So every man.
All right. What is this called?
We're not endorsed. This is the Leatherman. We're not endorsed.
Should I not play with this? I'm a little bit clumsy.
You should definitely not play with this.
I'm a little bit clumsy. I'm concerned. Where's the knife?
The knife is on this outside portion. So if you
get the knife out. We're gonna play.
You gotta close it. Okay.
You're gonna play. I saw this in a movie once.
The Russian.
Yeah, exactly. Are you ready to put your hand out?
No. You put your hand out. You have to do your own hand.
Let's not do this. I don't want to have to file a workers' comp, and I don't even know how to close.
Yeah, let's put this away.
All right, so let's get into our content today. All right, so what I want to talk to you and why I had you on this, and what I want to title today is really like a man needs to be able to make decisions and live with them. The consequences, know how to back out of the bad decisions, know how to navigate through them. And one thing that I've noticed in our world, and especially with social media, being a driver, everybody struggles. All of us. You see something online, you want to do this. You see someone more beautiful, you want to be with them.
Yeah.
You see, a church, we talk about this all the time. You're our production director. And it's like, we see a $1 million church with 10,000 people.
With all the toys in it.
And it's like, oh my gosh, there's lights there that we didn't even know existed. Like they went to heaven and pulled down like the throne room backdrop. And we're like, how do we do that? And then next thing you know, we're in a fist fight because they're like, we have $3, but right. So, I mean, it's very natural to covet and all that stuff. Yep. And I think sometimes what that does for guys, probably everybody, but especially guys, I've noticed this, is we struggle to make decisions. We're with a girl that we feel like we love, but then we're also on social media, and it's like, is there something better out there? We all struggle with grass is greener, and like to be a great man.
Yeah.
To be a man of God. You have to be able to make decisions. I want to talk a little bit about your journey of decision making. I think what we can do is we can kind of begin a little bit about just briefly your decision to sense a call to ministry. But then I don't want to live there much. I want to really talk about your relationship, your romantic relationship, and now your wife, because I think it's a good story. But talk to us a little bit about, I guess, growing up and then feeling like, man, I feel called to ministry. I got to leave my job, etc.
Yeah, my call to ministry definitely happened at a very young age. I have journal entries from my mother from when I was 5 or 8 years old saying that I wanted to be a pastor. And there's also times where I said, I love music and I think I'm going to be doing something, or she said that she thought I would be doing something with music. So it's funny to look back now and see that I'm working for a church in a production ministry.
Yeah, amen.
Has a lot to do with that.
Can you talk about your mom a little bit and what happened there?
Yeah. So my mom, when I was 14, got cancer and that journey ended at 15. She went home to be with the Lord. And so I think that was really kind of a big part of my calling, because I watched a lot of my church be amazing for us in that situation. In a lot of ways, they could have been a little bit better. And, as life went on, I as much as I struggled with why God would do, or why things happened, I feel like God miraculously healed me of those things. And I realized that if God could have, get me through this traumatic experience and bring such healing to my life, that hope is for everybody. And I want to be a part of reaching everybody, building communities that people can be a part of. And so I didn't see myself doing anything but build the local church.
One thing that you do really great, I love about what you do, and this really doesn't have anything to do with decisions. I guess it does. You made a decision to be in ministry, but you're not a production director, you're a production pastor. And I've watched when people who either mom has cancer or somebody's going through something, you've always been a great stable force for those people during moments of great pain. And I love that about you. You've been through pain. You know how to handle it, manage it, and provide the empathy and the grace needed for those people. I just love how you lead your ministries, because you don't see it as a job, but as a ministry. So nonetheless, right, you accept this call. It was a little bit of a journey. You worked different jobs. You went to a college of sorts.
Yeah, Bible college, studied pastoral ministry, and got some secular jobs after that.
Should we tell them how I found you in a classroom?
Yeah, I was over a pizza party. I saw free pizza to meet church planners, and so I was like, well, I'll get some free pizza, and that's how it all started.
Well, I invited you. I was at your college, and I was looking for people to help us start the block church, and I'm like saying, I'll give you anything you want, free food, whatever. And Steven's the only one.
My eyes lit up.
Yeah,
free
exactly.
food.
Look, one thing about the Italians, man, we can get them with some marinara sauce.
Yes.
Anyway, you come to my house. You were up like
New
west
Jersey.
side of the city, or New Jersey, and then you come all the way down to my house. Don't know anybody. Didn't say a word.
Yeah.
You were how old? 8.
19. I was like basically a freshman in college.
Yeah.
So.
And then you come and hang out with us for 2 weeks, and we kept feeding you, so you kept coming.
Yeah, basically. Basically.
And here we are.
That's what college students have to do to survive. You have to find somebody that will feed you or something like that. You got to figure it out.
We've been feeding you ever since. So
basically, staff lunches are my favorite work days.
Yeah, I'm sure. All right. Let's move on. So you work at the church, all this stuff. Time has gone. You meet this girl. Talk to us about your journey here and kind of the up and down of the relationship.
Yeah. So I met my wife, Natalie. I like to say she knew that I was at this church, so she came to find me, but that's not true at all. She just came to our church. She got plugged in, and I saw her and I was like, wow, that is a beautiful woman right there.
Amen.
Strong.
Amen.
And my eyes lit up. And so, it took me a long time to convince her to go on a date with me. I didn't even say it was a date. I just said, do you want to go out to dinner? We both left, not sure if it was going to be a date or not. But sure enough, we went on a date. We dated for about a year. And then 2020 came about.
I'm sorry. Your first date was pizza, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Of course it was.
Well, she was trying to tell me that there was no Central Jersey. So I had to show her that there was a Central Jersey tomato pie.
That's right. We should have brought tomato pies, but then
I almost brought my pizza oven to whip some out.
It would have sounded awful. On the microphone. But okay, so you go on a date. That wasn't a date, and then what happens?
Yeah, I think we just progressed from there. I mean, I went to you really seeking advice and being like, hey, I really want to date this girl. She'd been a part of our church for a while, 6 months, maybe close to a year. So I got to see her from afar, see what kind of decisions she made, what kind of patterns were in her life. And so I went to you, went to Pastor Lauren, and kind of sought some advice. And you guys gave me wisdom about how to go about it. And it was probably one of the, I felt like it was the first time I really dated a girl with such pure intentions of, this is the girl I want. I want to do this right. I want to be pure. I want to pursue it with my whole heart. And I also want God to breathe on it. So I'm not just going to do this because it's my decision. Well, I want to seek God first in it before I seek the girl.
I want to go back to the word you used, intentionality. Yeah. So you're how old today?
28.
You're 28.
28.
She was older, right? She's older than you?
Yeah, she's a year older than me.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay. So good for you.
Yeah.
So you, but you guys you were 20, what, 5, 26?
Yeah, about 26, I guess.
Yeah, whatever it was. But you start to hit that age and you're like, okay, I can't this can't be flippant.
Yep.
Did something switch in your head where it's like, all right, this thing could be real. I need to be intentional. And what does intentionality look like? You mentioned a little bit of it.
Yeah, I think purity in the relationship is so important. Like when I took her on that first date and I dropped her off home and it was, 10:15 and I said, hey, I had a great time and the night ends now. She said that she was so impressed at that because every other guy that had taken her on dates would try to sneak a kiss or something. But to me, that wasn't what I wanted, right? And you say something all the time that don't trade what you really want for what you want right now. And so I think I constantly would be saying that to myself in dating her. The other thing is I wanted to purely get to know her and who she is. And not wanting to jump. I think some
physicality sometimes messes up the ability to maybe think clearly or see clearly.
And infatuation, right? That first 12, Gary Thomas in Sacred Search says, the first 12 to 18 months of a dating relationship, you are caught in infatuation. You're usually so butterflies, that you can't even think straight, right? We think with other parts of us instead of thinking with the mind that God has given us.
That's good.
And I have a friend that always says, why would God put your head above your heart? Why would God give us 2 ears and 1 mouth? Because we're supposed to listen more than we talk. Why would God put our head above our heart? Because we need to think before we follow our heart. The Bible says so much about our heart and how deceitful it is.
Yeah. Man, that's good. That's a good word. I think we don't think enough.
Yeah. Yep.
We're so led by emotions, so led by feelings, so led by, because I think what we see is not thinking.
Yep.
Well, a lot of times what we see, again, we'll pick up something, a phone, or we'll see somebody we're seeing, but that kind of goes right to our emotions and our feelings.
Yes.
Versus, okay, I see this, I like this, I need to process through this and have some intentionality.
Yep.
So you guys decide you're going to be girlfriend and boyfriend or whatever, and then what happens in the relationship?
In the relationship, we didn't really necessarily have mentors. We didn't necessarily have accountability in some areas. And so we did our best, I think, with where we were at. But coming towards the end of a year, I was very ready to be married. I knew that this was the girl I wanted. And she wasn't necessarily there yet. She was still working some things out. And come 2020, it was a crazy time. Being a production director for a church meant my work schedules were getting all wacky. She was off, she was remote, so she had all the time in the world, and things just were not. Things were constantly in balance, and so we found ourselves in a very unhealthy situation by the way that we communicated to each other, by our expectations of each other. And so we decided to take a break. And
how did you get there though? Did you go get some help? Did you go get some mentorship?
Yeah, we started to sit down with the marriage coaches at our church, Scott and Lisa Mitchell, and they told us that we should take a break from each other. So, a week of not talking, not seeing each other, and intentionally, right? There's that word again, spending time in God's presence and seeking His wisdom for our future. And it was after that week that, and this was another man decision I had to make, is I felt God telling us to take a longer break and to break up. And I knew that she
wasn't ready.
She wasn't ready, or she did not want to make that decision, because sometimes you have to do things that hurt in the moment for something that's better, right?
It's good.
And so as the man, as much as it hurt, I had to break up with her because I knew that she wasn't going to do it. And
what's crazy about all that is you knew you wanted to marry her.
Yes.
She was undecided at this point, but you knew the only way was you listened to people you trusted.
Yes.
And you knew the only way for there to ever be a chance for her to get where she needed to be, you needed to be obedient to God and make the decision. Okay, we're going to break up, and I've just got to trust God with this.
Yes.
That's really hard.
Yeah. It was I think it was one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make.
So then you guys break up, and then you really break up.
Yeah. I mean, the next maybe year it was like, okay, here's 25 days of not seeing each other. And then it was like, we run into each other at church.
Right.
And all of a sudden we're like, just want to catch up on life.
Yeah, right.
And I think with that.
But you really broke up though.
Yeah. We really broke up. Like we were not texting. She blocked me on almost every single social media platform, which was needed. As crazy as it sounds, I think so many of us don't want to get to that point with people because we feel bad.
Yeah.
But it's again, like you got to trade what you really want for what you want right now. Like you got to do some healing work. So that means you got to separate from people that you had ties to previously.
Just for like, cause I know sometimes Christians like do weird things, take breaks and, whatever. And a lot of times it's just cause they're making excuses to, be with somebody else or whatever it is. When you broke up, I mean, there was a lot of things that you felt like emotionally there was some healing that needed to take place in you. Some things she needed to figure out about how she viewed marriage, children, future. I mean, it was legit items.
Yes.
That it was like, we cannot proceed because there's no direction here.
Yes.
She couldn't catch the vision for life. I mean, is that a little bit? I just want to be clear.
Yeah. We had different visions. I was get married, had kids, be in ministry. She was, I don't know. Could be anything, do anything.
Yeah.
She's a big dreamer, right? And so she had all kinds of dreams, but we were not focused. We could not align on those things. And that's exactly why we had to break up as per the wisdom of mentors in our life, which
and
was
you made
very
the
needed.
decision, which I commend for. So you guys break up. You're broken up for how long? A year?
About a year, yeah. So she's at this point meeting with mentors and building relationships in that category. I'm seeking professional counseling during this time period, and by no means were we like perfect or it was easy. It was a very, very hard season, probably like one of the worst years of my life. But a year apart and working on the deep rooted stuff in us that we needed to address.
So how did you guys get back together?
Basically, it just got to the point where we were like, all right, we keep running into each other. Right. We keep just catching up on life. It just feels like we can't stay away from each other.
And you weren't dating anybody else. She wasn't.
Nope.
So then a year later, you have a conversation, you go back to your mentors?
Yep. Go back to our mentors. We sit down. At this point, we're like, we don't know what to do. We love each other so much. We can't see our lives without each other. Nothing about it was like, the movie of when you get back together and everything's perfect. Like by no means. We got back together and it was like, okay, we worked on stuff like personally, separately. Now we have to work on stuff like together and figure out if this is going to work.
So you sit down with mentors and then really like, I want to talk about marriage because how did you end up deciding, okay, how did she get there? And how do you view marriage? Because you had to make the decision to, I guess, accept her back based on the terms of, okay, I'm going to align with, we're going to have a same vision. Because sometimes people just get married for romance sake or because they can't seem to live without a person, but you have to have a bigger vision. What did that look like for you?
Yeah, I think once we came back together, I was very patient with her and very understanding that she was still working things out. And it got to a point where she then said to me, like, okay, Steven, like, I'm ready to get married. The whole time we were meeting with our mentors, we were really breaking down expectations versus desires and really looking at, okay, what can this look like if we get married based on our strengths, our gifts, our callings, and our vision for our future. And slowly but surely those things started to align. And I think we had to take a look at, like, what do we want from a marriage?
She changed, she adjusted, she maybe had some more practicality to her dreams and realized that these were similar, and then maybe you had some give and take as well.
Yes, of course. It's give and take on both parts.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we had to decide, like, what kind of marriage we wanted. Like, for example, like you talk about romance, like romance can be the center of your marriage, but both partners in it, what I think we learned is, like, we had to align, right? Okay. So we really see ourselves as like we're spiritual partners, right? Like, we're ministry partners. Yeah. We are business partners. We have dreams of starting businesses together, and those things together keep our vision aligned. And obviously everything is from the Father, right? God is the one that downloads that vision, that dreams, those DNAs. And it felt like God brought us together.
It's great. And so then you always knew. You always knew you wanted to marry her. Kind of had to wait till she got there, but did what you had to do.
I mean, no doubt there was doubts
for sure,
right? Of course, but I felt like God spoke to me at the beginning of our dating relationship and said, "Hey, this is gonna be really hard, but it's gonna be really worth it." And the whole time I questioned, was the breakup that, like, am I supposed to not be with her? And is this teaching me something, or are we going to get back together? And I just always held on to that promise and said, God, however you want to make it worth it, whether that's for me personally as a man or for us as a married couple, I'm open to what it is that you have. So I knew that there was going to be pain, but I knew that there was a purpose for it.
Talk to me. You have your journal here.
Yes.
What bring some of this out? What is this for?
Yeah. Well, obviously I think if it wasn't the Leatherman, I would say every man needs a journal.
Amen.
I think it's very, very important.
I am writing in my journal as much as possible because I want to leave my journals to my children.
Yeah.
There's assignments in there. There's to-do list. There's prayer requests. Yeah. There's notes. I just want them to have my thinking. Yep. Anyway.
Yeah. So I was flipping through this the other day and I realized that, this is December 2nd, 2020. This is, we were probably just about to get back together here. Yeah. Right. And so I had to sat down and I said, an elder in our church asked me what I saw in a wife, like what I wanted. Yeah. Right. And I'm not with my wife at this point. We're not dating. And the list there's about 11 things. Okay. Right. A follower of Jesus, sensitive to his voice and spirit, generous, loving, kind, compassionate, passionate, smart, fun and funny, adventurous, pure, called, and motivated.
It's great.
And I think
I don't see like a specific size clothing or hair color or
ethnicity.
Yeah, nothing like that.
Nothing like that. As much as my Italian heritage wanted me to marry an Italian, I married a Puerto Rican, and I'm thrilled about it. But I think looking back on that, what's so beautiful is again, yes, those attributes, although they're good, these inner things that make up a person, right? The soul of a person. It's good. And that's what soulmates, right? That term, whatever. I don't know if we want to go there, but those are the things that really matter, right? And so I think once I really realized that, what is it that I really, really want? The inner workings of a person. And Natalie checked off all those boxes.
So when we're talking about making decisions, it sounds like you make decisions based on value and values. I mean, is that kind of what I'm hearing from you?
Yeah. No, I think looking back at how I work, right, and all those things, I think value is very important to me. What values is going to bring to myself, to somebody else, or what value am I going to bring to it?
How did you make a decision? So you purchased a house when you were young, kind of a miracle property, right? You came on staff.
And let me remind you that our church staff met there for a season. I opened up my home.
I do remember that. So, but you were 25 or whatever, right? When you bought that house, but you made a decision to take a risk. You did the homework. on first-time home buyer, all this kind of stuff. You know, and then now you've positioned yourself to, you know, part of your plan is to work on buying another property, but you chose not to buy something over the top. It's something you're renovating. Can you just walk us through, you know, that aspect of it, like making decisions with money, making decisions with property, you know, and really you do all this stuff on a budget.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's not like you're making millions working here.
Yeah, not at the block church, not yet.
One day,
One
maybe.
day.
Yeah. But help us with that as we kind of conclude our time.
Yeah, the one word that came to my mind was discipline, right? Dreams and disciplines. There you go, right there. Dreams and disciplines, right? I have a dream, and what disciplines are going to get me there? And so I wrote in my journal. When I turned 25, I said I wanted to have 5 properties by the time I'm 30. Got 2 years to get 3 more. So I don't know how we're going to accomplish that, but I'll start playing the lottery or something. I'm just kidding.
If you play the lottery, all of it goes to our building campaign.
90% tithe at that point.
Amen.
Yeah. Anyway, but disciplines, right? You can anybody can build a budget, but who can stick to it?
Okay.
Right. And so when you have a dream,
dreams
help build disciplines because disciplines help you get to your dream. And so my dream was to buy a home. I rented out my rooms. That would be considered house hacking.
Yeah.
And then that allowed me to, you know, recuperate funds over 3 years. And once I got married, we were able to now purchase another property that we're renovating, going to move into.
Yeah, because getting married, you get 2 incomes when you get married.
Yeah, I know that was great. And one of them is not ministry. So.
And so just the decision making on that, like I want to go back to that.
Yeah.
You had a plan, but coming up with a plan starts with coming up with a vision.
Yeah.
You can't have a plan without a vision.
Yep.
In our world as Christians, can't have a vision without sitting with God.
Yep.
And having some direction for your life.
Yep.
So would you say, Steven, that it really starts, tell us your goal this year with God. What you shared this in the beginning of the year.
Yeah. My goal this year, I would say I would maybe put myself in an ADHD kind of category. I want to move. I want to be doing things. I'm trying to sit in God's presence more and more each day, like meditation, no phone, no scripture, no music, just sit.
Okay.
My goal by the end of the year is to be able to do that for 60 minutes at a time. So 1 hour of sitting in God's presence and meditating.
But from that, you'll probably have your journal with you.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting with God. I'm getting ideas.
Yeah.
I'm hearing from the Lord. I'm writing these down. Time with God turns into vision.
Yeah.
Vision turns into plans.
Yep.
Plans turn into the decision and discipline phase. And that's when you're able to move.
Yep.
And I think...
And move with confidence.
Move with confidence. That's so good. And you're not always going to have the full armor of 100%. Nothing's ever that way, right? You're renovating your house right now.
Right? If we're 100% confident, like we'll be confident in God, but there's also that faith step that's like, okay, like this might not work out, but I'm going to trust God.
So it's almost like discipline and decision making, they walk together because you can't fulfill your decision without discipline.
Yep.
But you can't ever get to that point if you don't have a vision. And I think if we're speaking to men today about making decisions, they're going through some stuff. It really is a combination. So would you say the process for you really is prayer, vision, plans, discipline, make the decision, faith? I mean, that's what I'm hearing from you today.
Yeah. And if you just keep doing that over and over and over again, I think you'll find out that God's going to do some incredible things in and through you.
I love it. I love it. So for our men, man, it's like you don't have to have it all figured out, but you do have to have a little bit of a vision and a plan.
Yes.
That comes from God. It comes from some of the things he reveals in your heart. And then you take steps of faith. And while you're doing that, you got to have discipline.
Yeah.
The scriptures tell us that faith without works is dead.
Yeah.
And so I really appreciate your story. Thanks for sharing. And I think guys got to hear this and spread this around and share and subscribe and be a part of our godly men community. So manners, how to act like a man. Thanks, Steven.
Thank you.